Welcome back to the Mulberry Book Drop. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Happy February.
Happy February.
What you been up to?
What have I been up to? Lots of celebrating. Birthdays. I have so many friends and family that have birthdays like at the end of January, the beginning of February. And so I feel like every weekend I'm at a birthday party. So, I mean, I'm not mad at it, to be honest, because, free food, we love it. I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, I was going to go more with the friends aspect, but
that
okay.
Part's great, too. That part's great, too. Added bonus to the food.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
Too much. So I started this weird thing just for fun to annoy my family. It kind of started with the library calendar. We had like an extra couple of days in the month because you know how we always do like first Friday, second Friday,
Right.
So we had a fifth Friday. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do on a fifth Friday? So I looked up national holidays and stuff, and I found out that there's actually a National Hot Chocolate Day.
Yum.
So that was why we did the fun day last month where we had the hot chocolate for people and the toppings. So it was super fun. Thank you guys for coming and having hot chocolate with us. But I also did some at home. So like one of the days was National Spaghetti Day. So we actually, I made spaghetti. I did it with pesto just to do something different, but I got out like the fancy plates, my glass plates. And, I made like a little pudding dessert thing that we all had. So I made a whole dinner out of it.
Yeah.
And then there was also National Fig Newton Day. There was a National Dress Up Your Pet Day. So I just was kind of having fun with some of them. And there was a National Houseplant Appreciation Day. So I took a couple pictures of some of the ones I haven't killed yet. And I gave them a little shout out on social media. So that was really fun.
That's funny.
But did you know that in February, there is a National Red Sock Day? There's also a Comfy Day.
I need that one.
Which I'm wondering if maybe our director would let us do another pajama day.
Probably.
But here was the funny one. Chopsticks Day.
Oh.
Yeah. So you got to eat with chopsticks that day. I have to double check what the actual date is because I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's also fettuccine Alfredo Day.
Yum.
Carrot cake.
Yum.
Pancake.
Oh.
Banana bread.
Oh.
I was really wow, I could just do this.
Delicious.
Figure out my menu board.
For real. Oh my gosh, this sounds good. Listen. Yeah. I'll be at your house.
See? I mean, you did miss the soft pretzels. So
I did miss the soft pretzels.
Doors open.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, we do want to urge everybody to jump on social media and follow Depot 303 in Mulberry because they have been announcing the restaurants that are coming. We actually got to sample a couple of things when we were at the cookie walk. So it was super exciting. So if you're curious about what's coming and dates that you can start going there, make sure that you guys are following on social media.
Yes, it'll be, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah.
So excited.
Big time.
Well, speaking of new things, at the library, if you've been to the library lately, you might have noticed a blue wall.
It is so blue and so beautiful.
Blue against all of the white.
Yes.
So shout out to Chelsea, who is one of our directors here at the city. I think she's the director over 15 departments. I'm just kidding. Just about. But she has been working on this mural and she painted it and I am thoroughly impressed. I know you are too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
They said she free drew, hand
I
drew.
could never.
I'd be like, no, I need to trace.
Yeah. It's so amazing. So make sure you go and check out that stunning mural that we now have right outside the library
and if
door.
you take a picture in front of it and you want to, you can tag us in it. We would happily share it, but it is so incredible and we are just absolutely loving it.
Yeah. So fun. Murals are so fun.
They are. I was
I'm
like, when can we paint the rest of the walls?
Right. Be like, okay, that one's blue. This one will look really good too painted. Anyways, yeah.
I love it. It's really cool. So do stop by and let us know what you think and take some pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah. Do you know what big thing happens this month? I know technically when this episode drops, it will have already passed. That's your hint.
Oh. Am I supposed to say it? I'll say it. Groundhog Day.
Yay! Okay. This episode is dedicated to our coworker, Kathy Ann.
Yes.
Her favorite holiday.
Yes.
Is Groundhog Day. So we are going to do a little Groundhog theme celebration. So the whole premise of Groundhog Day for a lot, it's kind of being stuck in a time loop. So the same day over and over. But it's actually rooted in an ancient tradition and folklore. So if you're not aware, it happens every year on February 2nd. And in I can never say it, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It was first reported in the paper in 1886.
Wow.
I know.
It's been going on for a time.
It was really fun looking some of this up.
Yeah.
But like today, crowds of up to like 40,000 people will show up there to see what happens when the groundhog comes out.
That's dedication.
It really is. And if you've ever watched it on TV, I mean, Pennsylvania in February, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
But like, you guys can picture it. I'm sure, you know, you got the dude in the top hat with the long coat, you know, it's like, it's a whole thing. So in 2024, so last year, the groundhog did not see its shadow, and this has only happened approximately 20 times in recorded history. So that's the whole premise, though. When the groundhog emerges, if it sees its shadow, it will retreat back into the den, and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow, that means spring will arrive early.
And you know what's funny? Is how many times I've referenced the groundhog, and I'll be like, wait, did it see its shadow? Did it not see its shadow? Wait, what does it mean? And I swear I say it like backwards, forwards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. But I'm like, did he see his shadow? Like, all right then. I don't know.
It's so fascinating. Well, and then of course, I kind of went down like a whole thing where I was like, what exactly is a groundhog? You know, and so I was looking it up, and it's actually a hibernating rodent. And believe it or not, it belongs to a large group of ground squirrels. So that is, you are now ready for trivia.
Yes.
So next time somebody has groundhog trivia, we can sign up and we're going to go win. It's going to be great. So
I do love random trivia facts.
yes, so do I. Okay, so what we decided to do is we looked up a couple of books and also movies that have kind of a groundhog theme. So like I said earlier, that stuck in a time loop, same day over and over idea. So we're going to share those with you. Kind of like last month, we're going to try and keep the little synopsis kind of simple so that you guys can look them up and decide for yourself if you want to read it. No spoilers. Some of these I've read, some of them Sarah has also read the author at least, so she kind of knows the writing style. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Do you want to do the first one, Sarah?
Yeah. Okay, so the first one is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which you had me at Taylor Jenkins Reid.
I thought so.
Yeah. But when asked a question, how will each decision play out? So you have 2 stories, 2 alternate realities. Is anything meant to be, or is it just chance? That sounds good.
It's kind of, it really is a fun idea though. It's like every time somebody says like, do you want to go with me out to dinner? And you're like, how does my life change if I say yes and I go out to dinner versus no, I want to stay home in my jammies? Like,
oh, that's a lot of existential.
I know, but like
happening.
all of these little questions can change every single little trajectory of your life.
Very true. Very true.
And that's all we're doing all day long is making decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one, it's called Maybe Next Time, and it's by Cesca Major. It's listed as paranormal romance, and it's like a what if story. So you're reliving the same day, desperately trying to change the future. So you're trying to change what's going on between you and your husband. You're trying to reconnect with your kids, maybe your job satisfaction, and it's also about finding yourself again. This is one of the ones that I did read last year, I think.
Okay.
And it was really fascinating because it's like every day, all of a sudden it's like something goes wrong and you're just like, almost like a feeling of, ugh, I failed. And then you go back to bed and you wake up and it's that same day. And so you start all over and it's like, okay, well, if it didn't work out that way yesterday, what if I do this instead? Will my kids talk to me more? And can I stop my daughter from like doing this other thing? You know, It was really fascinating.
Interesting. Ooh. I feel like these are all existential.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh my. All right. So the next one is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, and it is historical fiction. And throughout the story, Ursula repeatedly is born, grows, and dies in a number of ways. Ooh, I kind of want to read that one too. Man, my want to read list is getting long.
Just remember, we still have permission to DNF.
Yes.
So if you do start reading it and you say it's too much right now or it's not for me, that's okay.
Agreed.
Okay. And then the other one that I came up with that I believe is already on your list is called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
It sure is.
And it's by V.E. Schwab. This is fantasy. So this was actually suggested to me by a friend a long time ago. And I was like, oh, too much. And so I ended up having to do the audio version. And once I was able to like focus in listening to it, it was actually easy to follow and I loved it. So it's a woman who makes a bargain to live forever. But then what does that mean? So the story spans centuries and continents and history until someone remembers her name.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to give you. Did I sell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I did have it checked out at one point, but it was a really big book. So
yeah, you definitely have to be ready for it. And I mean, we've talked before about me and fantasy. Right. So it was kind of like, and that's why I had returned the book and then got the audiobook instead. And then once somebody was reading it to me, I was able to kind of like settle in and follow a little bit better and not overthink it necessarily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I like that.
Okay. So we're going to switch to movies.
Yeah.
And the first one I have here, there was one patron who comes to the library and had checked this out. And I almost lost my mind because it is one of my favorite movies. And I didn't think anyone had ever heard about it. And it's called Run, Lola, Run. It's a German thriller. And so it does have subtitles. But I believe it's set up in like I think they were about 20 minutes each. So there's like 3 different iterations of the story, right? So there's a small change in each one though. And that decision changes the outcome. So the lesson of it is kind of like every decision, every chance equals a different outcome. And it's really interesting the way it's put together. And then like the little break when you kind of hit the end of the first one, like what happens, and then the second one starts, so it's really, really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. I loved it.
Well, the next one is Groundhog Day. I know, shocker. What? Weatherman covering Groundhog Day event gets trapped in a time loop and has to keep reliving February 2nd.
I mean, that's the movie.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because I know someone's birthday who's February 2nd.
Okay.
So I was just like, and she doesn't like celebrating her birthday.
No, she does not.
So I'm just thinking about her reliving February 2nd over and over and over again. That's so funny. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Okay. And then the last one I thought of, and I had to ask Sarah if it was correct because I've only seen it once, like forever ago, but it was 50 First Dates. It's like a Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore movie. And she has amnesia. Yes. And so it's like a similar idea though. So Henry falls in love with the character Lucy and he has to kind of win her love each day because when she goes to bed, when she falls asleep, she forgets him.
Well, and her family makes it the same day over and over again for her. Same newspaper, same breakfast, same outfit. Crazy.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
I love that movie so much. All I can think about is the song, and if you can hear the song, it immediately started playing in my head.
See, but the only song I can ever think of with Adam Sandler is I always go straight to The Wedding Singer.
No.
The end of The Wedding Singer on the airplane.
Yeah, no.
I love when he sings her that song.
They've
done a lot of movies together.
They have. Yep. And I love them in everything.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, I suppose if you get along with your coworker, I mean,
He has like 2 or 3 different people that he does a lot of movies with.
Yeah. I remember I always thought he was like just a goofy comedian because I always knew him from like Saturday Night Live and stuff for a long time. Some of those hilarious songs like Lunch Ladyland. I remember the first time we played that for our kids and they just thought it was like the funniest thing. But then all of a sudden I saw, did you ever see the movie Spanglish?
No.
I can't remember. Was it Penelope Cruz? Maybe he was in it with somebody, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like he can act, but it was kind of the same thing I had with like Jim Carrey, for instance. Like you always think he's just this like goofy comedian, and then all of a sudden you see this movie, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Like there was a lot more in there than I realized, and I don't know. Sometimes we don't give people enough credit.
It's true. I classify that as typecasting.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah.
Who was the other one?
I did not come up with that. Not me sounding original.
Steve Carell.
Oh yeah.
He did a movie one time because of course everybody always thinks The Office, right? Michael Scott, and then he did this movie that I saw a long time ago, and I think it was like called Dan in Real Life, and he was like a single parent, and I must have rewatched that movie like 4 times in a row because I just couldn't believe that it was him for some reason. I don't even know what it was about that movie that I loved so much, but it was really interesting to see him being this like other human, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It's true.
Yeah. I loved it. Well, I know this is kind of a shorter episode. We didn't want to do anything too crazy. February is a short month anyway.
That part.
But, you know, I'm sure there's a bunch of other books out there. I would be curious if you guys happen to have one that you think of. Please feel free to send them to us, because I was looking some of these up and I was surprised. Some of these were a couple of my like more favorite books, like ones that I really enjoyed. And I was like, maybe this is my little niche.
And you just never realized it. Yeah.
Maybe I like those what if questions.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, that's too deep.
I feel like you do.
I think I do.
Yeah, you do.
I think I do.
For sure.
Sarah, are you reading anything right now?
I am.
What?
I know. Surprise, surprise. I'm actually reading Dinner for Vampires, Life on a Cult TV Show by Bethany Joy Lenz, which I know that you read.
I did.
If you know me, I used to be weirdly obsessed with One Tree Hill, and she played Haley James Scott on One Tree Hill, which my favorite. She was definitely in my top two. I can't even talk.
I had never
so
seen that show until I met you.
Oh.
Because we were, like, when I first started at the library, I remember we were all just kind of, you know, when you're getting to know each other and you just ask, like, silly questions to see if you have anything in common.
Yeah.
And I remember I admitted that I love, like, teen shows, like teen dramas, right? Like that, you know, I grew up on Beverly Hills 90210, and
right.
I watched all of Dawson's Creek and, you know, all of those kind of things. And I remember you were like, but you've never seen One Tree Hill? And I was like, no. And you were like, Chad Michael Murray? I'm like, no. And I did end up watching the whole series.
I do. I love that show. I really think she was one of the characters that had a lot of growth. But now getting to hear her story, so there's like a little thing on the front of her book that says, while also in an actual cult. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, you were in a cult? And I said, oh my goodness. So I started reading. I'm only about 50 pages in, and I think I'm getting to the point where it's coming up. And I'm like, because I feel like we have similar stories, like with our faith and stuff like that. And so getting to hear a little bit more about that has been really cool. And I'm like, oh, and to me, I know that it's her book and it's based off her life, but it's such an easy read that I'm like sucked in. Oh, which is what a cult do to you anyways. but I'm like, oh, I'm forgetting this is her real story because I feel like I'm just reading a book, and it's just really good so far. I'm enjoying it. So.
I always find that stuff interesting because, like, a lot of people joke that I'm one step away from joining a cult, but I think it's just anybody who asks questions or is a seeker or just curious.
Yeah.
That's like, they can get you. It doesn't matter. Like, they're everywhere.
Right.
And that's one of the other podcasts that I listen to is really interesting because they interview a lot of people who've maybe like left one. And so they're literally everything from if they were maybe working for like an MLM at one point or, you know, so there's like all these different levels and versions and whatever.
And
like
don't even realize.
Yeah. So like they're not all something that's going to end up with like a documentary show on TV or anything.
Right.
But they were like, you know, any one of us could be one step away and all somebody has to do is ask us the right question.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think you're doing a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you reading right now?
I am literally about to start a book, but I'm actually excited about it. So I decided to try another like science fiction book, and it's only about 180 pages. So it's actually a novella, but it's part of a trilogy. So I guess it's a novella trilogy. It's called Full Speed to a Crash Landing by Beth Revis. And I heard about it like randomly, but then I was looking at it and on, you know how we've been using fantastic fiction a lot? So I was looking at fantastic fiction and they had listed it as a high octane, sexy space heist. Okay. And I was like, I mean, that sounds fun.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And all I know so far is that like the person ends up like a space wreck, right? And our protagonist is left with only 10% of her air in her tank. And so like, oh no. So obviously she's out in outer space somewhere. Her spacecraft is not working and she's almost out of air. So what's going to happen in 180 pages? So I'm really curious. And I did look it up. If I enjoy it, The second book is already available in the cooperative because it came out in December of 24.
Oh, cool.
And then the third book is supposed to come out in April of this year. Oh. So potentially if I like it, I could actually read the whole trilogy. And we did a whole episode on trilogies. I love a series, but I feel like a trilogy is just the right amount. Mm-hmm. And that's something I can like get invested in.
Ooh, I might want to read that.
Yeah, so I'll let you know how it goes.
List. Oh my goodness.
Sorry. That's why we shouldn't do this podcast. Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, I was kind of in the mood for something different. And, you know, it just sounded kind of interesting. And you know how I love to kind of go back and see how I do. And I thought, like, it feels more like a science fiction that I can kind of, like, understand without it being too wild. Yeah. So I'll let you know.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. This was fun.
It was.
Happy belated Groundhog Day.
Yeah, happy belated Groundhog Day, guys.
We will talk to you all soon in March. And Sarah, where can they find us?
Facebook, Instagram, or email us at themulberrylibrary@gmail.com. And with that,
happy reading, Mulberry.